All right, welcome back to another review. Filming this right after my Hypno Hustler one. Today we're looking at the Marvel Legends mini comic wave Feral, and this is kind of an X-Force incarnation. Not a whole lot going on in the packaging. Unfortunately, there's only 2 fists, which I probably won't use. She does come with the claw hands, which are going to stay on, and then everybody's favorite comic accessory there. Got Feral on the bottom there. Comic accessory in case you're blind. Even though that doesn't make sense because you would still need to see to read that. In the background, you got some pretty cool comic book imagery there. You kind of got the comic book inspired hit there. X-Force logo. Garbage on the bottom. Legalese back here. You got the rest of the wave. Beast, which I've reviewed. Daredevil, which I hope to get. Silver Surfer, I hope to get. Recently just reviewed her. Obviously this is her. And again, man, if I end up finding these too soon, I'll fold on that. I'm a sucker for, you know, might as well finish the wave. And then you got comic book art there. Again, I did not read a lot of comics in my life, especially as a kid. That looks like 80s, 90s artwork. But you got Cable there. And I'm forgetting her name. I know her name. I'll remember, of course, when I turn this recording off. A little description. In X-Force #1, Feral battles alongside Cable's band of outlaw mutants fighting for the survival of their species against Strife and his Mutant Liberation Front. So, Strife is cool. I wish I still had that figure, but yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get Feral out. Now, I was like confused because also I was not I was not following news after I sold my collection. So I say that because I don't know what number comic book wave this is. I don't know if this is the second one. I don't know if it's the third one. I know there was one. That's the only one I remember. I'm assuming this is the second one though. But I was confused because I was like, didn't we get a Feral not too long ago? And it's because I always get Feral mixed up with Wolfsbane. You know, very similar character design. And then also, I had to remind myself that it's also not the character from the Starjammers team. So, I don't know, just stupid. I got stupid. There's just so many characters, dude. And when they start looking like this character design, and there's 3 of them within the X-Men world, you just kind of, they start to blur together. But yeah, that was Wolfsbane. This is Feral, who I gotta say I think is more on the interesting side. But let's get accessories out of the way because there's so many of them. She comes with these female fists here, which hinge up and down. They're molded in the purple. That's fine. And then the mini comic book wave, which has that same art from earlier on it. Oh, wow. This one actually has a back. Yeah, you got Shatterstar. Is that... I think I see Cannonball, maybe. It's a little too small to make out. Oh, I know the name of that guy, too. Oh, what's his name? I feel like if I get it wrong, it's going to sound insensitive. So, again, something about turning this camera on, my brain just takes a shit. Because I start calling elbows shoulders, and I start calling harnesses harnests with a T for some reason, even though I've never said that in my life. Anyway, yeah. Interesting there's a back to it. The other ones just have the Marvel Legends on it and the Hasbro logo. This one's like kind of bent downwards. But whatever. Again, this goes into my bin and I never worry about it ever again. So here's Feral. And I do love some X-Force action. A lot of this seems to be reused from the West Coast Avengers Tigra, which I think may have had a single release before that box set. Which is fine. That's exactly how I figured this would be, at least in terms of the legs and the arms. But my one problem with that sculpt is she's supposed to be furry, which she does have fur sculpt here and there, but it's super minimal. Like, you get some on the shoulder in there. Oh, actually, I see something weird going on. You get some on the elbows as well as some on the back going into the gloves. There is a slight texture on the tail. There's some on the back of the leg here on the calf. And there's some on the front of the foot, and there's a little bit there above the knee. And as you can see, the camera's making her look way more mocha caramel color than she actually is. But I will say that this is kind of harder to see in real life, but the camera is actually making it stick out quite substantially. So there's that, and like I said, most of that is sculpted in here. You got an overlay here in this plastic, molded in purple, some painted white. These gloves are a separate piece, molded in purple, painted white up tops, molded in, or purple, molded in purple hands. I think this is still mostly the tiger body, but I think I'm seeing some reuse in here because on the back inside of these giant shoulders, I don't know if you can see, not the shoulder, but the actual body part in there. I don't know if you'll ever be able to see this, but I'm seeing more sculpted hair back there, which is weird because, like, you can't really see that. Why would they go through the effort of doing that? But both the purple on this piece up top and the purple on this piece on the bottom, they're both separate pieces. So I'm thinking it is still that sculpt that they've reused and put keyed in an overlay in there. So that's kind of strange, yeah, because there's more fur in there as well. Maybe you can see it better right there. So yeah, and then here's the head sculpt. Super cool. Kind of got that Wolverine do going on. Pretty well sculpted, super textured in there. She has very long pointy ears. She's even got the sideburns going on like Wolverine. Really bushy eyebrows that go up into the hair. Got the fangs out, whited out eyes, kind of some black eyeliner. Teeth and tongue are painted nicely. And then she does have this, I guess this white going up with black around that. It's kind of weird now that I think about it. I mean, it's visually striking character design wise, but like logistically, what's going on there? Is that dyed hair? Does she put product in there like that? I don't know. Kind of weird, especially from far away. Kind of looks like those are her eyebrows, maybe? I don't know. But it's cool. Big old hair. And it is similar to Wolfsbane in terms of even the hair too. But yeah, the rest of the sculpt on the actual costume is fine. I'm actually a big fan of, I don't know if you see the wrinkles coming around from the back of the neck on either side. I really like that. As if it's like pulling more towards the front, so you get some nice wrinkles in there. That's a nice little touch. Purple also seems a little bit different on camera too, but yeah, there's that. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to add. It's pretty interesting use of reuse. Does this tail? Yep, tail does come out, and then it just plucks back in. It does swivel, but it feels like once you get around here, it kind of wants to start popping out. But it does swivel. It's not bendy wire or anything, so there's that. And then I guess I'll do articulation now. I'll start from the bottom here. Hold on, how's she stand? Because these have pretty tiny feet. Yeah, she stands fine. It's all right. Oh, and then customization. I don't think I will do anything here. Maybe paint the toenails, something. Maybe go over with a slightly darker color on the fur patches scattered here and there, but more than likely not touching this one. So anyway, forward facing pin for rocker, which can go all the way around, can go back all the way, can go forward quite a bit. Double jointed pinless knees that bend, not all the way. I figured that would go the whole way, but That's fine. Upper thigh cut. This will kind of get in the way, but it is soft, so it'll lift up, and it goes not quite 90. It starts dipping down towards the end there. Can go backwards a bit, can go sideways pretty much an average amount. So yeah, going down, that gets out of the way. She does have an undersuit there. Like I said, that swivels there. Is there anything on the waist? No, there's not. So, but you do got a ball peg on the upper torso here that can get her to tilt there, there, nice all around, can go all the way around. And then going forward, oh wow, that's like useless. Going back, still not good, but it's better. It does open up in there, but I guess from most, well, you can still see it from that angle. Looking downwards at her there, you can't really tell. And it is sculpted to make it look like it follows the sculpt of the suit, which is, like I said, a separate piece, so it's all sculpted and raised there. No shoulder, but no butterfly joints. Shoulder coming out to the ball, can go up. Oh man, I don't know if that's just tight or... yeah, kind of tight. This is the downside of doing it how I'm doing it. Opening these, I don't get to heat them up right away because that would just be obnoxious. So, but about there, which is about 90, which is fine. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless arms, which I feel like the cuff is gonna get in the way. Cuff does get in the way, but that's pretty much fine. And then the head, similar to Black Widow, you can really see it in there. So I'm gonna guess this thing has awesome movement. So starting off with tilt. Oh yeah, that's some tilt right there. Can go side to side, all the way around, looking down. Perfect. Looking up, also perfect. So you can probably get some nice crouches or leaping poses if you wanted to. That it works exactly how I thought it was going to work. So that's awesome. Is not to be weird, like this is just a factual observation, but is this the most cleavage we've gotten on a Marvel Legends? I don't have the Shaun of the She-Devil figure, so I'm not sure, but that's more than I remember seeing on any of them. Is it because she's a cat lady it's okay? I don't know. I think it's okay regardless, but you know, marketing stuff is goofy. So, did I miss anything? Oh, the hands normal coming out. So, is there a... Uh-oh. Okay, so this turns as if there's a wrist swivel, but I think it's just a separate piece that, honestly, I think if you take this off, yeah, see? Yeah, it just comes off, which makes sense. You know, those are the tiger arms. So yeah, I mean, it does turn around in there, but it's not, you just kind of turning the overlay around. So yeah, there's that. And I'll be honest, I'm not good at posing. I'm not. I got the most boring version of display. They're either doing this, like an army or a character select screen, or the tried and true something like this going on. That's about it. But I can't have everyone doing the same generic pose, so I'm just not super good at posing. I'm not one of those guys. There's definitely an art to it, but whatever. So would I recommend this? Final thoughts. I'd say yeah. She moves around pretty fun, and it looks awesome. The color scheme's awesome. Head sculpt's awesome. Articulation. I feel like the articulation could be a bit better here and there, particularly in the upper torso. I feel like the legs should be able to go a bit higher. I feel like you could sneak a butterfly joint in there. They did it with Nightcrawler. He has a similar kind of costume going on, but yeah, I don't know. It's it definitely looks awesome. Nothing wrong with it on that front. And to me, you know, I don't it's not like I'm playing with these things. I'm more worried about presentation. So it could not move at all, but if it looks fantastic, you know, that's not to say that I would rather just have a statue, but is what it is. Let me know though. Does Feral also get lost in your brain along with Wolfsbane and whoever the man? I feel bad. I know the Starjammer character, but whatever. Do you have this figure? Are you happy with it? Does this make you want to build an X-Force team? Because kind of wish I had this before I sold the collection, because I had a decent X-Force team going on. But yeah, let me know in the comments section below. What do you think of this? I got the last one at my store, so thankful for that. Let me know your thoughts. Again, pretty basic figure. We've seen a lot of this before. And I think that's why it doesn't feel super new, because we've seen the body for the most part. And like I said, there's been 2 other Wolfsbanes before this, before they did Feral here. So I don't know, it doesn't feel super new, but it is new, and it's cool. I recommend it. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it. Whatever you feel inclined to do, and anything is appreciated. Every click, every little thing is a step closer to this fueling my plastic addiction. So, as always, thank you so much for clicking, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.